This is the On Cloudmonster 3, and it is getting thicker. We are adding a third layer of these CloudTec units here. So we've got base layer, top layer, bottom layer here. And we're gonna go through today, do a first run review, take it through a couple of different paces and see if this is something maybe you wanna go pick up. With a March 5th release date, we're a little early to it, so hopefully we can get this to you and see if this is something that you want to go get. At $190, the price point is pretty steep in my opinion, so it's gonna have to do something pretty impressive for me to really justify that price point, but it might happen. I actually did get to have this on my foot at the running event for just a little while. I got to do just a little bit of easy running in it, and it was pretty intriguing. You can feel that they added this extra layer of CloudTec units, and I'm curious how it feels throughout a real run today. So as always, I go through, I'm going to talk about the upper, do a walk test, then I run 3 miles, one at 10-minute pace, down to 8:30, and then something usually sub 7-minute pace. With the fastest pace there, I usually let the shoe kind of dictate for me where it wants to be. So when I'm testing shoes that are made more for recovery, it's usually closer to that 7-minute pace. Some shoes don't even want to go below 7-minute pace. Other shoes I test, we take it down below 7-minute pace and get some real speed into it because it's giving more back. So I use that as an opportunity to let the shoe kind of tell me what it's made to be for. We are a little hefty with this. This is a 10.4 ounce shoe with a men's size 8.5, which is small for sample size, but that's what On had out. A 35 millimeter heel. And that's coming down to 29 here in the forefoot for a 6 millimeter offset. It's also an EVA blend, so it's their normal Helion. So I think it's going to feel pretty similar to a lot of the other shoes that have the Helion foam in it. With that said, we're gonna go ahead and get it on foot, see how it feels, and get the walk test in. As always, we do have a speed board in here, so it runs throughout. It's a nylon plate, but don't think like carbon plate. It's more like a softer propulsion. The nylon moves within the CloudTec unit, so it's all set up to be a very comfortable propulsive option, but thought that was worth mentioning. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this on the foot real quick. Laces feel okay. The on foot feels okay. It's a little long, so I usually wear 12 or 12.5. And actually, funny enough, I'm wearing another On shoe right now. I will show you because I feel like the Surfer runs a little short. So this is a 12 here. This is the On Cloud Surfer 2. And you can see I'm like up here at the front. So for a 12, for me, that means it runs a little short. The Monster here though, I've got almost a full thumb to the front. So if you're ever between sizes, definitely size down on this one. So as you can see, definitely a little bit long here. So we're gonna have to feel around a little bit to see how tight we have to do the laces. This definitely feels like maybe because it is longer, I'm gonna have to runner's loop it. You guys know I like doing that anyhow though. So we'll tighten this up. It feels like there's a lot of space in here all around. Feels like there's a lot of fabric on the inside of the shoe here. So we'll tighten it up. We'll get the runner's loop done. Laces are like particularly long here, which is interesting. Okay, just tightening that down here. I feel like they actually, oh, they did good. Okay, so I'll have to do a close-up of this. They've got a padding on the tongue right where the bulk of the pressure is going down on. And I think that actually helps out a lot because it locks in well now, but it doesn't feel like I'm getting lace bite. Like on the Mega Blast video, I was talking about how it hurts the top of my foot. The Mega Blast does because it's such a race-like upper, but this is relatively light in the construction, but has padding like right where you need it. So we're getting this side tied up as well, and we're gonna have to definitely do the runner's loop. It feels like it has a really nice secure lockdown when it is looped, but that just means you might have to do it at home. So time for the all-important walk test. We'll stand up, get a walk in it, see how it feels. It has an interesting sensation actually. The CloudTec units definitely compress like in a very interesting rocking kind of way. And one more time. Feels like there's a lot of squish in the heel. I'll have to do a overlay on the heel as well. It feels like an open cavity, or looks like an open cavity inside the tech unit, but it's passing the walk test. It makes me want to bounce around a little bit. So you can see from the top to the bottom here, this is completely hollow. So you can see from the bottom to the top and vice versa, whereas this one is just one piece that runs all the way through, separated by a column. So these double honeycombs are really willing to collapse. So I'm really curious how they do when we start running a little bit. It's just under 50 degrees right now, so I'm gonna do the first easy mile with my jacket and my joggers on, because I don't want to be cold. Hopefully we warm up enough that I can drop this when we go into the 8:30 and the sub 7-minute paced miles. I do have 6 miles in total today, so I'm gonna get to give you guys a little more of an idea of how the shoe feels once I settle into my normal pace. So I'll break down the 3 miles, finish the rest of my 3, and then I will break down the entire shoe, how I feel about the value, where I think it's positioned, if it's positioned well or not, and give you an idea as the runner if this is something that you should maybe look at getting or not. So with that said, all we have to do is to get into it. So we will pop and start the workout for today. Here we go. Okay, so just first couple of steps we have in it. Feels relatively light, which I like. Even at the heavier weight, 10.4 is not light. So that's nice. The tech units do feel interesting, but I'm gonna have to keep feeling that out a little bit. Feels like it's got an interesting whole rock sensation to it that I think I might have to get used to. All right, so half a mile in. This is definitely rewarding a nice, easy shuffle. I'm actually a little behind pace right now, kind of on purpose, because it's really comfy. I'm hanging around 10:30 pace, and the heel strike, the way that that tech unit collapses is very comfortable. So far, a very nice thumbs up. So I'll go ahead and drop it down to actual 10-minute pace like normal and see how we do on that front. But I think it's gonna be pretty good. So honestly, just shuffling along there wasn't a ton of feedback. It felt reasonably light. I liked that heel strike feel, that shuffle. 10:30 and 10-minute pace didn't feel like dramatically different in how the shoe was reacting. I did come down a pretty steep hill and got a little bit more speed out of it there. And that felt interesting. It felt like maybe there was a little more of that rocker geometry, or maybe I was getting a little bit out of the nylon plate in there. But we'll see as we go into our 8:30 paced rep if anything really changes about the way the shoe reacts on the ground. So I'm gonna drop the hoodie off and the joggers and get right back to some running. And so the 8:30 begins. Here we go. Cruising along comfortably at our 8:30 pace here. And I do like the way the shoe feels. I'll say it again because it is, I think, going to be a point of contention. I don't mind the weight. I don't think this is really all that heavy for how heavy they say it is. Good rocker feel, a little faster. I think I was right on that. The shoe just does like to get that little tip in there. I could definitely see this ending up in a rotation somewhere, and that's something I'll get into at the end of the review like normal. Say like, what would this pair well with? How many shoes should you realistically have in a rotation to make it worthwhile to pick something like this up? So we'll go ahead and, got a lot of water with some very nice looking new shoes. Don't want that to hit. But yeah, I'll come back in just a sec and give you the 8:30 review. So 8:30 down. I really like this. This is a very reasonable shoe. I don't love the $190 price point. I don't know how I feel about that, but the shoe feels really nice. So I think the person this might end up working for is somebody who really likes the On aesthetic and wants a good running shoe, because this feels like a very nice running shoe. Like, you saw the Cloud Surfer 2 earlier. Not my favorite. I've run in it probably 5 to 10 times, a couple of miles each time, and it is a very underwhelming okay. I thought it was soft at first, and then the last couple of runs I've done in it just have not been my favorite. This, I feel like, could be one of your like one shoe rotation kind of things, where if you're new to running and want to look cool while you're doing it, this shoe could be really good. You know, you pay the On premium, but if that gets somebody out the door and it's like a $30 jump from the 160 range, I feel like this probably should be. I don't know, I'm kind of okay with that. Now, before I can really say that it could be a one shoe rotation, we have to know if it can go faster. And for new folks, that might not be quite as important, but I want to be sure I'm particular with the words I use. And I don't really want to overstate things. For YouTube, it's always this interesting thing if you have to say something interesting, but like the Super Blast, I genuinely think that's probably my favorite shoe I've ever run in. So I don't want to overstate things and say everything's a one shoe rotation, but I like when a shoe can do a lot of things. Versatility is really important to me, especially for newer runners. For the shoe sickos out there who are watching these reviews on a shoe that hasn't come out yet, you know what you want a shoe to do. So that's where the kind of spectrum comes into play. Like, some shoes are really good at going slow, like the 1080. Some shoes are really good at going fast, but not slow. That'd be like any of your racers. Some shoes have like that general range down pretty well, like a normal running range. So I don't know, we'll hop into the 7-minute mile, and I'm really interested. I would like for it to do this well so that I can give this a thumbs up and tell folks that it'd be a worthwhile grab. And really, knowing On, I'm sure that this is going to be good at this faster pace. I've got a lot of employees actually at the running store who have really liked this shoe before, and a lot of the collegiate runners at App State, which is the university that I'm close to, it works well for a lot of people, especially the Monster 1. A lot of them are still buying that right now. So if this can perform as well as that and be as versatile as that, I think it could be really, really solid. Seems like the durability on it is also going to be pretty good. So an initial hesitant thumbs up on the durability feel. Sometimes you can just kind of feel if a shoe's going to fold under some miles. This doesn't feel like that. So we'll go ahead and hop into that 7-minute mile here, or faster, depending on what the shoe wants to do. A little past a half mile into this rep here, and we're feeling good. Just does feel heavy now. We're going 6:45, and I don't know, it is okay here at a little bit faster pace. All right, so I'll go ahead and finish this mile up here, then we'll pop back, tell you how it finished. So my watch did a weird thing on that last mile. It lapped at the wrong spot, but it ended up coming to, I was able to look back to the laps. It ended up looking like it was around 6:48 for the mile. And that's where I felt the weight a little bit. Not the craziest effort in the world, but it did not feel as smooth as it could. And that's probably a relative thing. So as I started working harder, it felt harder to move. It still felt nice, but it felt easy and smooth at the easy paces that I was running. It felt smooth and heavy at the faster paces I was running. So it still felt nice. I still liked it. It's just, I noticed the weight. So overall, I do like this shoe. It felt like it was a little more challenged at that faster pace. which I don't know that it's supposed to live there, right? So there's the Cloudmonster Hyper and then all of their other faster shoes. This is supposed to be a nice high cushion daily trainer, and it does that really nicely. I think when a shoe feels as good as this does for easy miles, I like it, but then it gives you some level of versatility. Like this shoe versus the 1080 in that middle range, so the 830 pace, this felt way better than the 1080 did. And I think that gives a little bit of range to the shoe, and I do like that. I think that's a benefit when a shoe can do multiple things pretty well. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up these 3 miles. Then we'll break down everything about the shoe, how it fits on foot, the stability, the structure, who it's for. Do I think it's worth the price point that they're asking for? So value is always at the forefront for me. I like when a shoe does well, but knowing if it's worth actually purchasing, if you should spend your hard-earned money on it, is a whole nother thing. Like, I say this every time, I'm so fortunate to get to do this because I love the space, I love running, and I hope that what I can do best is give you an idea of who this might be for so that you don't have to go out there blindly guessing if a shoe might work for you or not. And we always have to try things, but the more informed you can be, the better off. So we will finish these up and finish out the video here in just a sec. That's a stride at 518, I think it said, maybe 519. Competent is what I would give it. You definitely get more pop. You know, finally putting a decent chunk of force into the forefoot. Felt like it gave a lot more liveliness. So if you're a forefoot runner, this could maybe be good too. So it feels like slower paces, it's rewarding the heel strike, or at least helping it. And then faster paces, feels like they really tuned the forefoot to bounce and pop a little more, which really nice. Kudos to On for that. Nicely done. All right, so that is 6 miles done. We're gonna go ahead and swap to the nicer camera to do the breakdown on all of this. And I'll let you know if this is maybe a shoe worth picking up for you. Okay, so we just finished the last 3 miles. I went 8:17, 8:24, and 8:29. Not really trying to press the gas or take the foot off the gas, I guess. But we'll answer the questions. How's it fit? How does it run at different paces? Who's it for? Is it worth the money? Is the value there? So how's it fit? I actually really like the upper. I thought there might have been a little too much fabric on the inside and outside, but once I cinched it down more, it feels like it's just particular about how you lace it. But overall, I give the upper a thumbs up. Aesthetics really good. I really like how this shoe looks. And that is why you end up paying the On tax, because it is such a nice aesthetic shoe. It's going to be more expensive. They've built their brand around that, and it is maintained here. Maybe the most important part of all of this, how does it run? And I think it feels really good throughout a large range of paces. As I said, I don't normally really like shuffling along, but it felt really good when I was doing that. It felt good when I was heel striking more. It felt good as I got to that more forefoot. Not a wow shoe. It doesn't make me go, oh my gosh, this is changing everything about what I'm doing, but it is a really good, really competent shoe at doing a lot of things. I don't think anybody getting this would be like really upset about it in any like major way. My biggest complaint really is no super big fun factor. You know, when I started running faster there, I felt like I got a little more pop out of it, but it feels like it's got that really nice rocker, which is fantastic. So when I was running at the 830s, it felt very smooth, but when I was trying to run sub 7-minute pace there, it felt smooth and heavy, kind of. Overall, I like it. I thought the added layer of the CloudTec units was really nice. Now, at $190, as I always say, value is really important to me. I think I'm going to have a hard time recommending it unless you're somebody who really loves the way that On shoes feel, or if you really like their aesthetic, I think there are shoes that can do the same job at a lighter price point. I love the versatility here. I think it being able to go from those really easy paces through, you know, competently, relatively fast. I think there are plenty of people who will run plenty fast in this shoe. It's just 190 is really expensive, at least in my eyes, for a shoe that's not giving me a big wow factor. As for the stability, I thought it did a pretty good job. And one thing I did really want to mention is the rubber coverage. I think the shoe's going to last really well. So I'm particular, I want the shoe, I want the midsole to die. That's what makes a good running shoe worth having, is this midsole piece. So when a shoe wears out all the way through the bottom, or wears out all the way through the upper before the shoe is dead through the midsole, that really kind of bugs me. I don't think that'll be an issue with this shoe. So I'm excited to see how long something like this can last durability wise. The CloudTec units always make me kind of wonder, but I could see it being a really solid option that lasts a really long time. And stability wise, it's got a pretty good footprint here. It's not like overly egregiously wide. So if you are somebody who overpronates, even with the foam being a little more firm, I don't know that I'm going to be recommending it for somebody who's really dumping inwards. I did like the way it felt on that stride there at the end. Something under 520 pace is always going to give me a feel for how poppy it is. I think it did that very, very nicely. So if you're somebody who's pretty fast and you're doing a lot of threshold plus work, I could see this being a great shoe for that. I don't know how many people are running quite that fast in a shoe like this though. The forefoot felt like it just did a really good job of compressing and popping. Similar in the way that if you heel strike and you're not moving quite as fast, I really like how this compressed and came back up. So overall, good job. I think On did really well with this. The biggest limiter to me is the price point on this shoe. If you love On and love the aesthetic, I'm going to give it a big thumbs up. If you're someone hunting for value, I don't know if this is going to be my first pull. So what kind of shoe rotation would you need to be having for this to fit in? I think it could be for somebody newer to the sport. I think it could be your one shoe and it does pretty much everything pretty dang well. If you are somebody who is looking for a lot of shoes, this is going to be a daily cruiser type in my eyes. You could go a little faster if you wanted, but it's not a workout shoe by any stretch, not that it's trying to be. So if you are somebody who has a couple shoes, you could have your really easy day shoe, something like the 1080 or the More from New Balance or a Brooks Glycerin Max. Then you could have the Cloudmonster here that's doing most of your faster work. If you ever do a workout that you don't need something really fast for, I could see it doing well there. Really my biggest problem on that front is the weight. As I said, as I was getting up faster for me, the weight felt a little bit like a limiter. Not terribly so, but enough where I was like, I think for a workout, I would rather have something a little bit lighter weight. And then as always, you can have your really fast shoe if you wanted it. I could even see maybe doing like your really easy day shoe and then something like this as a 2-shoe rotation, just going between the two of them. It really just kind of depends on how much the weight of the shoe that you feel and how fast you want it to go. But overall, I think it's pretty good. As always, if these videos are helpful, feel free to watch the next video on the playlist or check out the Ontos running brand. It'll have a discount code in the description. I've got socks and shirts and quarter zips that are all really nice, and then the hats are on their way. So with that said, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. If you want to take a look at the other first run reviews I've done, take a look there, or a training playlist right here. With that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Happy miles.